Okay, now just to introduce the candidate is Manav Joshi, son of Pramod Kr Joshi. He's from Dehradun. His father is a clerk who's earning 90,000 rupees per month. Mother is a graduate. She's a housewife. He has done his 10th from Cambrian Hall with 94.6%. And then he went on to do his 12th again from same school in 2019 with 93%. Okay. Then in 2022, he has done his graduation from in BSc from Dayanand Anglo Vedic College with 68.2%. He occasionally plays football and badminton. His interests and hobbies are reading, journalism, meditation, and cycling. He has participated in quiz, debate, skits, and in blood donation. He has appeared in SSB almost 6 times. 4 times he was conferenced out, and twice he was screened out. So now he's going to have his interview or say SSB in next month, that is in the month of December. Okay, now it's for the interviewing officer and Manav to be interaction. Right then.
Right. Thank you, sir. Well, good morning, Manav. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing fine, sir.
You're located in Dehradun now, or you shifted somewhere?
In Dehradun itself.
Okay, so how's the climate and weather there in Dehradun?
So weather is really cold here.
Okay. There's been a
climate...
lot of these issues about, not in your area, but a lot of Garhwal region about caving in of roads and, cracks in house. What was the reason for that?
So the reason was that the urbanization and all those industrialization that is being held in those areas. In 1970s, a report came that the area was made up of soft rocks and it was unstable to make such structures. But with population and with the people living there, the rules got flouted and such structures got made. And then finally, in last year in Joshimath itself, those cracks and all those appeared and people had to evacuate it from those places. So that was the reason.
Okay. So what do you think we should do to avoid such mistakes in future?
So strong policies is very much essential in such situation, as well as the check by the authorities is very well required, because ultimately it's risking the life of the people who are living there, as well as their entire earning that they are put in making those houses and those hotels which are acting as a source of income. So that needs to be checked, and certain risk measures should be laid, like a certain population after a certain limit, people should not be allowed to visit such places. A kind of check, a limit, which the government has now introduced in Char Dham policies also. There they have kept a certain check that after a limit, people won't be allowed to visit the places. So such measures are very essential.
What about this tunneling? And there was also some news about some projects, hydropower projects and all being done there. It was one of the reasons that caused this. Is it true?
Yes, it was by the NTPC, National Thermal Hydroelectric Power Plant. So it basically due to the tunneling work that was started by these agencies. Basically, it was meant for improving the tunneling system in the area, but it mainly focused upon the seismic system. The geographically, it located at the epicenter point. So being Uttarakhand being in such a seismic zone, it was very risky for such structures to be constructed. So at the end, there was such landslides, sudden landslides in 2021, due to which many laborers got stuck. So such activities needs to be checked by the government. Otherwise, it leads to calamities like that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. You have been through the system quite a lot number of times. So you are aware of that. We'll be having our interview for 45 minutes or so. We'll be conversing in English. And Should you feel the need to explain something, you can use Hindi a little bit, but I would request you to come back to English as soon as possible. So suppose you tell me about your education starting from class 10 onwards and working up to your present level of education. I would be interested in knowing about the subjects chosen after class 10 for further studies and also about your future career options. I would also want to know about the percentage scored in various examinations. Talk about your participation and extra co-curricular activities, the ones in which you have achieved some success. Who are your teachers whom you appreciate the most and those who did not impress you much? I would also be interested in knowing about your friend circle which you moved with while at school, college, hostel. Who are your close friends? Why do you consider them so? Any difficulties in financing your education and such other things.
So starting from my school education, so I've done my complete schooling from class first onwards to class 12th from Cameron Hall, which is in Dehradun itself. And in my class 10th, I secured 94.6%. And there I got a scholarship also for class 11th and 12th also onwards. And after that, I took the science stream with subjects like physics, chemistry, maths. And there in class 11th, my score was about 84%. And in class 12th, I scored 93% in the same science stream. Talking about the examinations that I gave after my 12th. So after 12th, I gave the JEE examination, NDA examination. And after graduation, I also gave the examinations like Indian Coast Guard Assistant Commandant, CDS, FCAT, and CAPF. And after my completing my 12th, I completed my bachelor's in science from Dayanand Anglo Vedic College, DAV College, which is in Dehradun itself. And my percentage was about 68.3% in that. Talking about the teachers whom I liked or disliked. So I would say that our chemistry teacher, Dr. P.K. Singhal, was the one whom I liked the most because his way of explanation, correlating the subjects with daily life examples, as well as more focus on conceptual building rather than marks, was that I liked the most in him. And the teacher whom I don't like, I won't say that I didn't like him, but it was Manish sir. His subject was mathematics, and I was not much interested in mathematics. So maybe it was due to that I was not much interested in that. Otherwise, I had a very good bonding with him also. So there was not a thing like I didn't like him. It was maybe just due to the subject. Talking about the future career options. So I have given exams like CDS, FCAT, and Indian Coast Guard examinations, and I've been able to clear them. My SSB is upcoming in December and in February itself, and there's also been the CAPF has been cleared. So I have the physicals of that, which would be the dates have not arrived yet. So that's the other options available to me. And now talking about the co-curricular activities which I had taken part in class in my school days. So it would be inter-school quizzes, inter-school debates, inter-house debates, as well as anchoring and skit competitions. And in more specifically about quizzes and debates. So our team had won first, second, third prize in that quizzes, and in both in quizzes as well as debates. And in anchoring, I used to take part because I like that. And in skits, I've also taken small roles. And then gradually there were more roles that I used to get in plays and all. So we used to be anchor in competitions like quizzes and debates, which were held for the lower children from the lower classes. So we used to be in that. And talking about, I have also been associated with the blood donation volunteer, which is in IMA Dehradun camp from 2020. And I have been an active volunteer and I have donated for about 10 times currently. Talking about the friends, I would like to say. So I had a very big group of friends in terms of my locality, as well as my schools, colleges, and even in SSBs where we meet friends. But the close one, I would say it's Dhruvacharya. He is my friend from locality, from my neighborhood. And he's been there from the last 23 years. He's 1 year younger to me. So we have very good bonding with each other. Like he has a very helpful nature. He is an adventurous guy, likes exploring new things, which correlate with both of us. So we have been with us from the last 20 years. So it's been a great bond. And talking about friends. And talking about the education, any issues that I faced, so it was completely financed by my parents. So I didn't face any kind of such issues financially. So I think, sir, I have answered all the questions.
Okay. Great. Tell me what happened. You have appeared for a lot of competitive exams. What happened in those competitive exams?
So in after my class 12th, I had given JEE examination. It was because the entire class was giving, so I just gave it a try. So I secured about 50 percentile in that. So I knew that my inclination was not much towards that, but it was just a try. So then I had appeared for NDA examination thrice after my class 12. I could not clear it in the first two attempts. In the third attempt, I was able to clear it. But it was due to COVID that on reaching the center, I got to know that my report was positive. So that SSB couldn't take place. So that had to be
Okay.
cancelled. And then
And
there
after
was,
CDS, after your graduation, you have appeared for CDS also.
yes. So,
So,
so after graduation, I gave a CDS 4 times and FCAT 4 times, in which the initial two attempts of CDS I couldn't clear it, and the first attempt of FCAT also I couldn't clear it. But then, by learning from my mistakes that I had done in the attempts, as well as my analysis of my strengths and weak areas, I was able to clear it in the last two attempts, both for CDS and FCAT. And the same applied for the CAPF examination and the Indian Coast Guard examination.
what was it that you felt was your mistake for not clear that did not make you successful in CDS exam first two attempts?
So in the first two attempts, I would say that I directly jumped into the examination without analyzing my core areas like the English, maths, and GS. My English was a strong area, GS was a strong area, but I was not improving upon that, and I was more focusing on maths, which was not a much stronger area as compared to both of the earlier ones. So I had scored about 65 marks in the English, but I knew that my potential was more of that, and brushing up of skills, reading skills, and vocab was required. So after analyzing my mistakes, and then I worked upon the previous year questions as well as the NCRTs, which were the basics. So first of all, I cleared my basics, and then I developed the reading habit of newspapers and books, which helped me to improve upon my vocab as well as the English skills. And then I was able to analyze my through by giving mock tests. I was able to analyze that what was my score. So through that, I was able to analyze my mistakes, and then I improved upon that by giving the exams, and thus
Okay.
I was able to clear it.
But why you want to join armed forces and which stream of armed forces would you like to join?
Okay, sir. So, sir, the reason behind joining would be that my schooling has been done from Cameron Hall, and it was located in a cantonment area. So, from entire childhood days, we have seen that environment of cantonment. Even the house of the GOC of the cantonment area was just in front of that. So, whenever there used to be any kind of competition, quizzes, debates, sports day, our school used to invite sir for as a chief guest. So, he used to address all the students, and even during our sports day, the commandant of Indian Military Academy had also appeared twice. So whenever I used to see them in uniform, that used to be a very like I used to be very attracted towards that, that the and the personality that they used to carry. And apart from that, most of the friends that I used to have in my school, they all belonged from defense background. Their father was either NCOs, JCOs, or some officers. So a kind of defense background was there from the childhood. And I would like to say that I would like to join infantry, specifically in the Indian Army, and specifically the Gorkha Regiment.
Why?
So Gorkha Regiment, because I think it's one of the bravest in the Indian Army, because of the valor and the sacrifice done by the soldiers, and the various stories that I've listened about.
Yeah, but the valor and this goes to all regiments of Indian Army. Why specific Gorkha?
Yes, sir, definitely. It applies to all. Brave people are available in every regiment. But what I have read that it was considered one of the deadliest because there were mentions about from Hitler also said that even if I have that Gorkha regiment, I would have conquered the world. And then apart from that, our late Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw was also from the same regiment. So that made it more inclined towards that.
Okay, but then there is other field marshal also. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
name him?
Yes, sir. Field Marshal K.M. Karim.
So he was not from Gorkhas,
Yes, sir.
and he was the first chief of army staff.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, sir, in that way, sir, Gorkha's regiment is plays another role because our school motto had also that kukri inscribed in that. So every time we used to see that kukri, and that used to remind that Gorkha regiment also. And the school was in cantonment area. It had the majority of the students that were there. They had that Gorkha genes in them. They all were mostly Gorkhas from Nepal and all. So that used to the stamina and used to them and the simplicity that in their nature. So that made me that it is a very good regiment to join.
Okay. Your state has two regiments. Can you name them?
So one of them is Garhwal Rifles and then the Kumaon Rifles.
Okay. You're not. Why you're not looking at Kumaon or Garhwal?
So it may be because the initial impression of the Gorkhas that left, so that made me to be more inclined towards that.
Okay. Any war of Gorkha regiment which you can recollect and say that inspired you?
In talking about war, I would say that there was PVC from Gorkha regiment, Major Dhan Singh, in 1962 war, Indo-China
Hmm.
war. So he played a very brave role in holding the unit because it was surrounded by a lot of Chinese. It was the Chinese artillery was at the back, and the infantry had also surrounded it. But he didn't leave his post, and he fought until his last breath. And all his he kept on motivating all his soldiers who were available there. So that I can recall.
To his last breath, he died.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Major Dhan Singh Thapa died. Okay. I think you are confused between Major Shaitan Singh and Major Dhan Singh Thapa. Okay. Never mind. Who is the CDS of Indian Armed Forces these days?
So his name is General Anil Chauhan.
He is from which regiment?
Sorry, sir, I don't.
Okay. Who's the Chief of Army Staff?
He's General Manoj Pandey.
What is so unique about him, which other chiefs did not have?
Sir, I would say that he's from Engineers Regiment.
Okay.
So more focus upon that section, like the infrastructure development, which is very, very crucial in the border areas, which I think he has been focusing a great either in the northeast on JNK, the tunnels and the road network that is being there. So I think that makes him different.
Okay. So you tell me you have been to SSB 6 times. What is the reason for your failures for not getting selected?
Okay, sir. So, sir, in the very initial attempts, I was not aware of the process as well as the what is being required, what is being seen there. I consider it as a normal academic examination where you have to mug up certain facts and figures and you have to present that. But as with the later attempts, when I interacted with many retired officers, saw videos on YouTube, then I was able to garner that the game is something different. It was the personality test. So in the initial attempts, I was just doing things very superficially. But then I started inculcating those habits in my daily life. Like I analyzed what were the weak areas where I was lagging behind, and I started writing them down, those weak areas, and how I could improve that. And then step by step, I started working on them. Like I lacked upon my knowledge as well as some communication skills were not up to the mark. So I began developing the reading of newspaper editorials, which I had never done earlier. As well as I also started developing the reading of novels, the habit, because in psychology, imagination part is very required, the creativity. So I think that really helped me to improve upon that area.
But still you were unable to get yourself selected. Why?
Sir, in that part, I think the psychology part, I had not the right knowledge. As I had consulted with Sir Mukteshwar sir, so the psych part lagged behind. My actions detailing the stories were not up to the mark, and even some stories, the themes were not up to the matchable level, the maturity level that was required as per a CDS candidate. So I got to know about that, and even in GTO tasks, there were some issues related to PGT structures. The ideas were not coming, so that were the reasons, I think so.
Well, I'm very surprised to know that you have been in the same school for class 1 to 12. You have only one friend, very close.
Okay, sir. Sir, the friend whom I'm talking about, Dhruvacharya, he is my locality friend from neighborhood. And the school friends were there, but they kept on changing their schools. Although I had friends, but the bonding was not as like Dhruv, because Dhruv was from with me from childhood. So that was the reason.
Yeah, but then their friends, many of them might be changing schools, but few must have remained like you from class 1 to 12. They could have had the same share of bonding with you.
Yes, sir. There were, and they are still in contact with me. Like
But then you don't consider them close.
yes, sir, the bonding which is required, like sharing of thoughts, emotions, feeling that issues that one faces, the kind of that connect was not there.
So what was so special about you and Dhruv that was not there with other friends in the school?
Okay, sir. So first of all, the time we used to spend it together. After school, we used to meet daily, either after the lunch, or we used to go for playing out football and various things. And we had been together at organizing several activities in our locality, and we had some common areas like exploring the city, exploring the food, going out for movies, adventure activities. So in those activities, the bonding became very strong. So that's why that kind of connect was good with him.
But I'm told you have written in your PIQ form that you have been school vice captain. You have held a position of responsibility. You could have done the same in your school also.
Yes, sir.
Adventure activities, coordinating, conducting, you know,
Yes, sir.
finding people with same interests.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, school friends were there. Vishwender Singh is my friend, very close, who has been there from the last 6, 7 years in the school. He has been more towards the professional end because he was with me in the quiz teams. So he knew me professionally well. Although he is also appearing for SSBs, so we have in good contact with still with each other. But that thing that with Dhruv, with the bonding with Dhruv, is not with him.
What is the difference? What is that bonding difference? I'm not getting it.
Sir, it may be because he lives in the IMN, Indian Military Academy, and his outing with me is not much more. More, it was more towards on the kind of we are meeting to with quizzes or kind of activities that we are conducting. So the main purpose behind that was any kind of activities or things that are being done. But with Dhruv, it was more towards adventurous thing. That's why.
Yeah, that's what you being a vice captain, you could have organized. I'm sure your students might be organizing picnics, and every year from every class, schools go on picnic trips and educational trips and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
So, and he has been there in with you for last 7, 8 years.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. There has been such activities group activities like picnics and all we have been organizing. We were together in that, and we share a very good bond, I would say. But there's always one person in your life whom we are the closest one, and that
Okay.
bond remains untouched with any other person.
Okay. What was the reason of you getting selected as school vice captain? What do you think, in your opinion, is the reason for getting selected as school vice
Uh,
captain?
So the reason behind that, first of all, the responsibility part, which the teachers thought, because I have been there in the school from the last 12 years, and the teachers, all the teachers know me very well, and they have seen my progress as well as my behavior with my classmates, as well as my the responsibility factor. Since I have also been the class monitor from class 5th to class 12th, so they were quite they saw me responsible enough to get this post. And secondly, it was also dependent on your percentages in class 12, 10th. So both these factors were under consideration.
So, as a school, as a class monitor, what all things you kept in mind to ensure discipline of the class?
So, sir, as a class monitor, the very first thing was that whenever there used to be the change of the transition in the between the periods, when the teacher was absent from the class, so we used to maintain discipline, like not allowing any kind of ruckus being created by the students. And if any such thing occurs, our duty was to write their names in a small slip, so that there should be a kind of fear in their minds that whenever the teacher will come, the monitor can give the names to the children and they would get punished. And apart from that, our duty was to maintain the daily attendance list, which we used to write in the office and we used to give to the class teacher also. And apart from that, maintaining discipline whenever there used to be a sports period or during intervals, our duty was to ensure that our class goes in the queue, following a queue, and maintaining proper discipline without making any noise, because there used to be entire corridor and other classes used to be going on. So it used to be our duty that we go peacefully in a queue. So that used
No,
to be a duty.
I'm asking is how was you ensuring the discipline of your class?
Sir, measures I have said that, like writing their names as well as keeping a strict eye on them and maintaining the, whenever teacher used to give the homeworks. So our duty was to collect from each and every child, that it used to be under the certain time limitation that they have to complete their homeworks, and otherwise the teacher used to punish them. So we used to ensure that they complete their task on time, and if someone was there who hasn't completed it on time, we used to help him in that way.
So, say suppose Dhruv Acharya is in your class and he is creating ruckus. How will you control?
First of all, sir, I'll give him a warning that
He says that you are my best friend here.
yes, sir.
Let it go for one time.
Yes, sir. And secondly, if he continues, then he also knows that I will be equal to everyone. I can give his name to the teacher, whether he is my best friend or not.
And he
Because,
says that अगर तूने ऐसा किया तो हमारी दोस्ती खत्म.
sir, in that case, sir, I would still give his name, sir. Because for that, equality should be there. Otherwise, other students say that he is your best friend and you are being biased with ours, and then it can also go against me, that they can complain it to the teacher that he is giving favor.
You tell me something, government has started Agniveer scheme in armed forces. What is your take on it? Is it good? Is it bad? Will it be helpful for security of our nation, our preparation for security of the nation? What is your take on it?
So the scheme that has been launched by the government is very good as far as the current situation are concerned, because the long pending pension bills, as well as various the pressure which is being was created on the defense bill, because the government was not able to procure modern machinery as well as arms and ammunitions, which was very much required in the current times, because the warfare is currently changing day to day. So in that perspective, this scheme has been great. But in my perspective, I thought that earlier it should get started as a pilot project. And then after 3-4 years or 5 years, maybe, the data should be collected, and then its success rate could have been seen. Because in the ground where I go, before and after the Agniveer scheme has been introduced, I see that the kind of motivation and the motivation that you used to see in the students, that has declined to a much lower level. And even the number of students that used to come for running and all those physical activities in the ground, they have reduced quite in a great way. And as far as the Indian demography is concerned, where if 100 people are joining for the soldier bharti or the Agniveer, out of that 30% would be there who would be for the service towards the motherland, and 70 maybe due to the financial support to their family. So from that perspective, it seems a bit low, because as we are comparing from US, Australia, Japan, about their modernization and all those schemes that they have started. But we should also take in hand about the population issue and the unemployment issue that is being currently going in India. So from that perspective, it should be started as a pilot project, and then the success could have been seen. So I think that should be there.
And what about its impact on the security of the nation, quality of security?
Sir, in that, as everything has a pro and a con, I would say that on one hand, it is providing a young age, the young age to the soldier, the fighting force, because it would be more towards the 2021, the young age who will be deployed in the frontier force. And on the other hand, I would say that their experience would have been less, because since less people, since about 6 to 8 months would be given for their training, and then hardly they would have 3.5 years or 3 years for the experience, where the person maybe not all time may be deployed in the frontier area. He may be also given administrative posting or something. So a lack of experience would be there in the soldiers. So that needs to be seen.
Okay. Now, recently there was a news about Qatar, giving sentence to 8 ex-retired service personnel. What is your take on it?
Sir, in that news was that Navy personals were being given death sentence by Qatar. So I think that there may be some issues, maybe some diplomatic issues that they must have been there, or because they have been charged under the espionage for doing for Israel. Although they were retired personals and they were working for some Dahara company which was operated in Qatar. So I think there must been some confusion between the sources. In my take, that it should be handled much more diplomatically.
And what is the recent global news that you came across, and what is your opinion on that?
So recent global news, I would say that Israel-Hamas conflict, which is being currently the buzz about the world. So from my perspective, sir, that as far as the attack which was carried out by Hamas on Israel was completely wrong, because they have used about 4 to 5,000 missiles on one go, and they have also taken hostages from civilians and all those. And there were videos being posted that women and children being paraded naked on the streets. So that was against humanity. So that should not have been done. It could have been solved on a peaceful talks or some other way diplomatically. On the other hand, since Israel has also started the air strikes and ground strikes in Gaza airstrips, and in which the lives of several innocent people are getting impacted. So, sir, that is also inhuman. I think so. Although Israel has a right to defend, but prolonging that thing, that revenge is not right, because that won't, the main purpose is to kill the Hamas people. but in that purpose, they are affecting the lives, they're taking the lives of the innocent people that should not have been there. There have been much more useful other ways which could have been used to solve the problem. So that should be my take on that.
So what should be India's, what would be your advice to our Prime Minister?
So as far as my advice would be concerned, so I would say that India should follow a path so that it ensures peace between both the nations. And even the Prime Minister should follow the two nation theory, which was earlier proposed in 1947 by the US, in order to maintain peace and a long term peace for the benefit of both these nations. Because India has been, both of these nations has good relations with India, be it Israel or Palestine, and even India has also supported Palestine people for for their country. And on the other hand, Israel has been a long-term ally in terms of difficult situations. Israel has also helped India. So I think that he should propose in UNSC or the global platforms that for the peace, and should follow that two-nation theory so that the peace can be ensured in both the nations.
What is two-nation theory?
So according to the plan of 1947, that after Britishers left the colonies of the Israel, the US came in as a mediator, and then it supported that certain areas, about according to two nation theory, 57% of the area, total area, should have been given to Israel, and 43% should be given for Palestine. And that was quite workable. But at that time, the Arab-Israeli war took place, and then Israel captured all those areas that were allocated. So I think that could be a good solution.
Well, that gives me a fair idea about your education and other related activities. Now, I would be interested in knowing about your family. Tell me about your members of family, including father, grandfather, mother, grandparents, brother, sister, etc. What kind of occupation they do and their education qualification. I would also be interested in knowing about the general activities at home, the ones in which you get personally involved. Who do you approach for help if you have a problem or you want to confide? I would also be interested to know about the general activities which the entire family gets involved. Mention about your friend circle in the neighborhood. How do you spend time? What kind of activities? If you get pocket money, how do you spend it? And such other things.
Okay, sir. So starting from my family, sir, total we are three members: my father, mother, and me. My father has done BCom and is currently employed as a clerical job in the New India Assurance Company, which comes under the government of India. And my mother is a housemaker. She has done BA. And talking about the general activities that I took part in my as a home, so I help my family in first of all, it's 9 a.m. when I get milk from the dairy, which is about 500 meters from our house, and then in at 12 o'clock or about 12:30, it's my duty that I take the clothes from the terrace and arrange them properly in the shelf on the cupboards. And the duty of cleaning the lunch utensils is my duty. And in evening, sometimes I clean on like weekends. I clean the terrace and all area, as well as arrange my own room and involve in that cleaning also. And overall the general activities in which we all together participate. So my father, during the breakfast time, we all meet together. We discuss about we discuss about any event which is being held in a locality or in a country which is quite in news. And we also listen to some music at that time while having a breakfast and such activities like that. And then during lunch, I have we all meet together. Maybe sometimes I get late due to my studies, but I ensure that I keep on time. And then we generally have our lunch together and discussing the same activities which are being done. My father may be inquiring some what is the progress of your studies and all those things, and discussions, normal discussion, daily household discussion with my mother. And then I ensure that during dinner time, we all meet together, we all sit together, eat together. And then we also watch some TV serials, like comedy serials like Tarak Mehta and all. so that we just enjoy and we share how the day went and all those things, and anything that I like during the day or something like that. So these are the daily activities which I take part in. And talking about the friends, I would say, so locality friends, as I mentioned, Dhruvacharya, Shubham Bhaiya, and other people are also available there. So mostly after completing my classes, either I get time after my lunch that I meet Dhruv at his home, or after dinner. It's a regular thing that after dinner we go to the walk. We do it in the locality or we do in the terrace. So we chat about the entire day's happenings and all. We like doing that for about an hour, and then we go to bed. And various other activities we get involved in, like social activities like bandaras being organized in our locality, or some New Year events or Holy festival or something like that. So we all take part in that. We organize it under the guidance of the elders, because they give us so that we should be able to carry forward those traditions. And in such way, we meet on a daily basis. And talking about the sorry, sir, I forgot the question.
Your pocket money and how do you spend it?
So as far as pocket money is concerned, so I don't get such kind of pocket money. Whatever the expenses are required, I just go and have it from my parents. If anything big is required, I have already informed them earlier that I have to pay such fees and all. So that's not an issue, and I directly go and ask from them. And the person whom I confide to is my mother, because most of the time she is available to me in front of me. And since my father is a working man, so he's in the office, so my mother is always there, whom I can confide to at any time. So that's the thing.
What about your grandparents? You have not mentioned anything about your grandparents.
So grandparents are not alive.
But still,
Yes, sir. So my grandfather was in the post office, and he died at an early age of about 50s. And my grandmother was a housemaker also, and I was very small when she died. She died due to her old age in her 80s.
okay. Tell me something like, what kind of advices you get from your father and your mother?
So, sir, from my father, he gives advice me regarding like focusing on the process rather than being result oriented, because he has seen me from my schooling as well as graduation, that whenever I focus upon the kind of results, then automatically I go in a kind of desperate state or get pressurized unnecessarily, which hampers my performance. So before any kind of exams or any kind of thing, he asked me just to give your best and focus on the very small step which is in front of you, rather than seeing the very big thing, because it will unnecessarily create pressure on you, and you will not perform to the required level. So the advice he gives that. And from my mother, she always asks me to be more attentive in terms of household activities, like cleaning of my room and arranging my books and all, because many times they are unorganized way. So although I try to do it on Sundays, on weekends when I get time, but she always tries to give me advice on that, keep my things organized.
So you have completed your graduation. So what are you doing these days?
So currently, I'm preparing for CAPF examination. Earlier, I was preparing for CAPF examination, and now since it has been cleared, so I'm preparing for the physicals and the interview and all, as well as other interviews of FCAT and CDS.
Your friends and all from your college, they must be working.
So actually, talking about the friends, so my entire college went in COVID year, so I was hardly able to meet any kind of friend there, because all the classes were online, and the physical interaction was hardly in 2019 when I enrolled as in the first semester. It was during the time of exams, and then finally in 2022. So I hardly used to get an interaction with those people.
But COVID happened in somewhere 2000, what, 19, 20? After that,
Sir,
the colleges
yes, sir.
opened up.
So in reality, I would say that I gave exams for only first semester, which was in 2019 September, October, and 2022 in June. In between, the college was completely closed for all the students because in Uttarakhand it was advisory. Because in 2020 it was entirely closed. In 2021 there was entire scene of Kumbh that held in Haridwar. So, and then in 2022, when it was getting opened, then the third wave of Omicron struck. So that was so, in that term, there was hardly any interaction with friends and all.
Okay. Okay. So other than like your room and cleanliness, what other advice you get from your mother?
Uh,
And
she sometimes asks me about your food habits because I'm mostly indulged in fast food. I like the fast food and spicy food. She instructs me to have a discipline on your tongue so that you should have a healthy life and a healthy body. And so I try to follow it like once in a
what
week.
happens if you don't get selected in any of the competition? God forbid. God forbid.
Okay, sir.
Then what will you do?
Sir, in all the competitive exams that I'm giving.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
Say
So,
you do not
sir,
achieve success, what you desire.
okay, sir. So, sir, on the back end, I am also working towards the SSC CGL examination,
Okay.
which is on the same lines as CDS.
Hmm.
Although I haven't given the exams, but I have give the mock tests, the previous year questions, and I know that if it's about 2-3 months practice, I would be easily able to clear that. So, if the defense forces doesn't work, I would definitely be going for that.
Any coaching you have taken? Dehradun, there are a lot of coaching institutes.
Yes, sir. In not physical coaching, but I had taken subscription of an academy on an online
Okay.
medium.
Okay.
Since in 2021 I had enrolled, it was completely COVID, so all coachings were over. And then when I enrolled in that, I got a good guidance from experts, so I considered it as a good option, and it saved
Okay.
my time and money also.
Okay. Well, that gives me a fair idea about your family. Now, I would be interested in knowing about your hobbies, spare time interests, etc. in detail. What do you like to watch on television? And if you have facility to access internet, how do you make use of it? I would also be interested in knowing about your routine on a working day and a holiday.
Okay, sir. So, sir, talking about my hobbies, I would say that reading novels, maintaining a diary, which is journaling, as well as meditation. Although more than a hobby, I consider it as a daily ritual because I have set a certain time for that in the morning itself, about 40 minutes, which I daily give. In certain cases, if I not be able, then I would give 10 minutes so that I should able to sit calmly in silence. And then apart from that, it's the reading books, which I have developed from 2020. And it has been really great because those books help to transform you to a different world and helps you to gain a good amount of knowledge or even sparks the curiosity within you to know more. So reading books has been a great hobby for me. And then journaling has been a really game changer for me. I started it in 2021 and I was able to improve upon my weak areas through journaling because I used to write them all, and then it also helped me to remember them. That I have to keep a check on all those my progress that I've been done, and whenever they used to be I couldn't achieve certain goal, I used to write in that, and for the next day I used to strive for more so that I should be able to achieve that certain goal which I had made. So it kind of tracker for me, that journaling part. And talking about my routine on a working day, so I wake up at 6 a.m. Then there's a 30 minutes of workout that I do, and then 20 minutes of yoga. After my bath, I sit for meditation for about 40 minutes, and then at 9 a.m. I have this duty to bring milk from the dairy, And then my breakfast and all, I enjoy the breakfast, listening to some music. And from 10 to 1:30 is the study time, as per the to-do list which I have already made, what the subjects I need to study, and all those things are there. In between is I have to do some tasks like bringing the clothes from the terrace and all, so that I do in between. And then after that, I usually do my lunch by 2 o'clock, and then watching some movies and some serials on TV or something like that, whatever is coming on available. And then after cleaning the utensils of the lunch and all, I take a nap of about 20 minutes to recharge myself. And then by 3 o'clock or 3:30, I again start studying till 5, and then 5 to 6:30, I go out for playing or running, as depending on situation. So there I do running and play football or something like that, availability. And then coming back, I read. Coming back, I get freshen up. I read books certain for 30 minutes on a daily basis. And then by 8:30, the entire family takes the dinner. And then after dinner, we have a daily ritual that I meet my friend Dhruv, and we usually walk and chat in the terrace of the locality like that. And by 11, I think so, by 11, I go to bed. And as far as the on holiday is concerned, the waking and sleeping time remains the same. It may be that the study hours get reduced, and I give more tasks like cleaning and organizing my room and all, as well as if I have to take my mother to some relative's house, or some relatives are visiting our house, so I needs to arrange anything that is required from the market and all. And I would spend more time, like on a daily basis I'm giving 30 minutes, so I would spend more about 1 hour to my book, because on that day the more time is available. And maybe during evening time, I may watch a movie or some web series on Sundays. So that's on Sundays, holidays. And talking about the watching TV watching habits, so I would say that I would prefer comedy serials, as well as some informative channels like History TV 18 or National Geographic, that give some information like India's culture or something like that, that I like to see. Or maybe if I really want to see a movie, so I would opt for a suspense or a thriller movie, that I would opt for. And as far as the internet watching is concerned, I would say mostly it goes in watching informative videos, or videos of the candidates who have already cleared SSB, their experiences, and what their learnings for all those individuals, as well as some channels like Study IQ, Vion, and Sunset TV, that I usually off on the internet. And so I think so I've given an answer.
Okay. Now tell me, you had something very interesting. You said, about reading and curiosity. What kind of books do you read? And can you give me some example of what you mentioned so that I understand and appreciate it better?
So talking about the books, so mostly I go opt for fiction, short stories, as well as some self-help books in between. And recently, I'm currently reading Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. And before that, I was reading Chetan Bhagat novels. So in Chetan Bhagat novels, the kind of writing he has used, it creates a sense of curiosity within you, that if you are reading for 15 pages, then automatically you take up the book and start reading for 5 pages more, so that you get to know what will be happening next. So kind of curiosity. And about Chetan Bhagat, no, last novel that I have read, it was Revolution 2020 and Three Mistakes of My Life. So those are the books
So what
I
did you
like.
like about this book?
So first of all, the writing style was good for the beginners, that one can easily understand the language that is being used. And secondly, it has some underlying messages. Like in Revolution 2020, it was more about friendship, and at the end, it was like humanity, the moral ethics and principles. And in three mistakes of my life, it was about friendship and how the mistakes they did and how they learned from the mistakes. So the messages were good, and the during the entire writing, the entire book, it keeps you on the edge that what would happen next. That I like the most. That.
Okay. So it was not to do with your curiosity about something.
Okay, sir.
It was more to do with the plot,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind of self-help book you are reading?
Last I read, sir, Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller.
Okay. What did you get in
And
that?
sir, it was mostly about our thoughts and how our self-talk impacts our life, as well as how the content we consume makes the quality of thoughts, and then entirely about our habits that we on a perform daily basis and how it impacts our life, because he emphasizes on daily on the very basic core is the information that you consume daily on a daily basis that automatically leads to formation of your habits, finally your personality development, and that.
Okay. So what did you learn from that? What was your
So
takeaway?
in that book, first of all, I analyzed what the content was I was consuming on a daily basis. So that really changed a lot, because if you on a daily basis, if you are watching a horror movie or something like that, the negative content, anything like that, the news like that, so automatically your mind starts to deviate towards that thing. You start to thinking about those areas. But when you work upon those, like changing the content that you consume, like some informative content or some maybe a little bit of spiritual content on a daily basis, it helps to improve your moral principles as well as your overall knowledge and
Can you
having a
give me
positive
one
outlook.
specific example related to yourself?
Sir, giving my example. So I inculcated that I used to watch one channel of Hum Jeetenge, which used to speak about the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So on I used to listen to it about 15 minutes in the morning, the very first content that I used to hear. So it used to be very motivating for the youth as well as for every person who is listening to it. And used to give a kind of guidance on how to deal with failures, on how to manage yourself in daily life and all those things. And I also started listening to that Sunset TV perspective. So that really changed my mindset, because there are a lot of channels which are giving misinformation. They are rather inclined towards leftist or rightist.
Can you give me a
But
specific example?
sir, these are the specific
Some
examples.
specific example. Like what changed?
Okay, sir. Sir, in that perspective, I would say that if something has happened, like if mm, I would say that if someone is getting late, if my father is getting late, he's not taking a phone. It may be the case that the vehicle has got punctured, or maybe some signals issue has been there, because my mother used to think that something wrong has happened or something like that. So your perspective changes. You start to think of possibilities which could happen, rather than from a, because the mind is completely based on the negative thing. But it is our responsibility to do the transition from negative to positive. So there I saw that improvement within me, that thinking part, and that came in naturally.
Great. Tell me something about your strong points and also certain aspects of your personality which you feel you need to improve upon.
Okay, sir. So, sir, talking about the strong points, I would say uh, perseverance is my strength, solution-oriented mindset is my strength, as well as helpful nature are my strengths. And about the weak areas, I would say fear of failure, which has hampered my performance in the past, and as well as my physical fitness and my knowledge aspect, which I myself like to improve upon. And I'm currently working on that.
Great. Okay, now tell me something like, uh, aeroplane. You have seen aeroplane around. and there is something called as helicopter, right?
Yes, sir.
So how is helicopter able to fly with rotary wing? And why do they have a small fan sort of a thing in the tail part?
Sir, I think it gives them the lift which is required
Mhm.
to take off. And in as far as the aeroplane is concerned, sorry, sir, not exactly. I know.
Okay. Tell me, a lot of these hilly areas and all, we see the roads, they are tilted kind of like, when you're turning. Why is it so?
Sir, it is the banking of the tracks which is being done so that the vehicle, the center of gravity remains at the side point. Otherwise, the vehicle, while turning, it would be very difficult for the driver to be balanced on those tracks. So that's
So
the reason they are made.
what force is applying on the vehicle?
I think it's the centripetal force.
And which is the other force?
Uh, Centripetal and the centrifugal force which are being balanced.
Okay. Okay. So which one is applying on the vehicle when it is turning?
It's the centrifugal force.
It's a
Centrifugal force.
fugal. Okay. Uh, you do running and all, I'm sure you must be practicing for your. So, what is your time for the 5 kilometer distance that you do?
Okay,
There
sir.
is a exam and test for that also, no? What
Yes,
is
sir.
the timing?
Sir, in reality, I would say that I I have only reached till 4 kilometers by now.
No.
I'm
Why?
not able to, sir, because my physical fitness was not very good till my class 12th. It was
Mhm.
only after that when I started preparing for these exams, that
Mhm.
because till class 12th I was in a category of overweight. Then I
Mhm.
reduced my weight, 20 kgs weight. So after that, I started working upon this fitness, and even the running part I have started this year only,
Mhm.
and I've been able to reach 4 kilometers, which I am
Mhm.
able to do in 24 minutes.
24 minutes. So, what's your speed in kilometer per hour?
Speed. Is 4 upon 24. It comes to about 10 kilometer per hour.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
You're doing 4 kilometers in 24 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So, what's the speed in kilometer per hour?
What time? 60 ऊपर गया 6 4 6 24 60 minutes. So it's 10 kilometer per hour.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Confident?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I have asked you a lot of questions. Manav, it was lovely interacting with you. You have anything else to ask me? You must.
No, sir, I don't think so.
Manas, I think let's start before I hand over now
I know.
to Shri. Now, let's say first and foremost, let me just compliment you. You got a good command on communication. You can communicate well, and
Thank you.
you are trying to put your thought into right direction, trying to sequence it as far as possible concerned. You're going haywire in between. That's that you probably have to change it up. Okay. Some of the good questions that you have done from there. You are right about Bhansing Thapa. He was 62 operation was that was the person there. He was the there. Secondly, you answered the question, why do you want to join services very well? Because you got motivated by the people who are coming around. So that was very well handled. And then also about Agnivir, you had a thought which was there. Only the later part of the Agnivir, you got slightly deviated. Then you thought it should have been experimented and then gone across and all. So you have to be making very, very judicious decision. Understand, it is an interview. It is an interview. And you cannot afford to be showing any bias anywhere. Right? They're very, very careful and cautious. Everything has got a meaning around there. And you did answer very well why you were chosen as a vice captain. Vice captain. Only one problem which came up there in the vice captain when the IO asked you, suppose one of your close friend has done that, then probably then I'll get it. You are doing it not as a part of it, only because they will blame you. Will be answerable to that. So that's the wrong answer. That's very, very wrong answer. You can't afford to do that. Okay. Then second, desperate. You use the word. The advice which your father gives you is that you are desperate. You're desperate. You're anxious and all that. You can't afford to show those quality around there. That shows that you are under. And you yourself are saying, I've got a fear of failure. Fear of failure. That totally indicates that you are under, there's a lot of anxiety is already taken control of you. And that anxiety, you can't even, yes, as I said, and I still maintain it, minimum level of anxiety is essential. It gives you a spring effect. But anything beyond that, when you talk of fear, failure, anxiety, and you've gone through so many examinations which have gone and you have not done it, that has taken a toll onto you. That has taken a toll onto you. Yeah, failure is a part of life, nothing wrong. We can't succeed everywhere that we go. That's part of life. And we have to take the failure in a stride. And every failure has to taken as a learning ground. It's a learning ground. Why did I fail? Why do you understand? You have to understand the logic for that. So that's the basically issue which you do there. Then you seem to be very, as far as your family background concern and the way interaction with the family, father and mother was okay, nothing wrong. But you have not, at no place, I could find the warmth that you had to show with your father and mother. That warmth is missing. You see, it is routine. What you talked about your interaction with your father, mother, and the only two people are there in your family around there, and there again warmth gets missed out. Secondly, even same goes into the friend. You talk to him initially. You talk about I got only one friend who was very, very around there, and then he started giving. I call it rationalization. What is rationalization? When you asked you around there, why don't you have? So you came back with a very simple solution because we were online classes were there and the pandemic was there, and because the pandemic couldn't afford to do it, and you're illogical. That doesn't stand to logic. You can't afford to stand to logic. And tell me, when you got a friends right from the childhood, you are there in a particular place, you can't afford to have only one friend. And since he needs school itself, you have 12 years you have spent in school, and you can't tell me. And because you started with, I have got a big circle of friends. That's the first question which you made around this. And then you came back, as you come back very, very hardly anything. You couldn't afford to talk with one or two friends around there. Logic was fair enough that you talked about it because you go together, something that you talked about. That's okay. The main problem which comes up, you started in meditation. Who gets it? That is supports my view that you are under anxiety. And your meditation cannot be your hobby, cannot be interest. Even if it is, you cannot afford to show and talk about it. It's simply who meditates, a person who is in a lot of anxiety in the problem, and which only gets supplemented. So that's the fundamental is gone. Okay. Then your downward trend in academics, you had no logic to support that. Why did you come back from 94% to 68% in your graduation? Secondly, I think yes, what is the road ahead? You are appearing for own examination after that. You passed your graduation in 22, and you are still 1 year passed by, and you come back. You've done nothing. You are still preparing for it. Don't you think you're getting static? What is the road ahead? It's giving examination in one part of it. Don't you think this time would have been utilized properly? So you have got no logic to that. So that's illogical. You cannot afford. That simply indicates you got unidirectional. You just want to achieve it, which is again progressive attitude. Yes, no. There's a two mindset. There's a growth mindset and the static mindset. So you have a closed mindset. So you've got only one directional mindset. I want to do this. That's the end of it. And so the close, you ought to have a growth mindset going into it. Okay. Secondly, when you talk about the It is a test of personality, It is not test of talking. By asking the question on there, the interviewing officer is trying to find out what are your personality. And personality, the way we feel, think, act, and behave, that is what personality is. There is a thought process. And thought process, now initially the first CIQ when you started off, you talked about the reputation of thought. First CIQ badly handled. For a simple reason, you talked about you appear in examiners at least twice or thrice. You came back. You talked, you after 12th, you did this, you jumped to the country. You were just, you were not concerned. It means you did not remain focused initial part of it. Okay. Then, and so there was incoherence in initial part. Slowly picked up in the later part. That's okay. That's then you would also talk about now you appeared in JU primarily because others were appearing. You were not inclined to do so. This is what probably the statement you made it. That indicates what? You can be forced to undertake a job which you are not interested. Now, secondly, it remains illogical. A person from the science background till 12 will score in 94% and thinks that, he can't afford for JE. Probably that's illogical. You may not pass. That's a separate issue. You would have made an endeavor. That is a question mark. Secondly, you talked about the teacher. You talked about the teacher. Teacher was one teacher, maths teacher was the you did not like it primarily because you do not have you do not liking for math. You don't like maths. If you would not like maths in graduation, you are taking science subject, isn't it? You are doing which all subjects are there in graduation?
Physics, chemistry, maths.
And so if that is if you don't like maths, again you're pursuing with maths back again. So the logic we gave it, then it stands to logic. It becomes illogical by itself. You
Yes,
also
sir.
have said that you can't afford it. You can't be, again, dichotomy comes into play. Non-Nikai had to be probed to talk about the friends badly handled. That question of the friends was the totally badly handled. Many times he had to probe and 2-3 times he had to interview but into go about it. And then you talked about, he asked a simple question of why there is a crack in the buildings and not say that initially he started off. What do you say? Initially, understand, it's a fundamental big problem there. You should have to talk about bearing capacity, load bearing capacity. That's a fundamental. Now you're a science, you're a science trained. You can't afford to talk in like that illogical way. Okay. And then sorry. And second thing, probably they had talked, the drainage system was not well existing. Load bearing capacity, drainage system. You became critical of the society. People who are not checking back, and only because they allowed the people to go that way. So that's part of it, okay. But the main problem still remains the load carrying capacity, load bearing capacity. And the drainage, they are the two, I think, which have been identified. And then he had to probe and he had to give it to you. What about the tunneling effects and all particular that happened? Because the Himalayan ranges are not supposed to rocky. They are supposed to full of the muddy around there. And because of that, when that tunneling effect has got effects, because it's a mud has got tendency to loosen. It is not rock, solid rock. And it has got diarrhea. And he had to, so you could have talked about those. You could have talked about now by building dams, hydro dams. So that has to be handled. That what indicates, are you there? Then you talk about forget. Then you talked about forget manage. Then you asked the first time you talked about you lost second CIQ. Probably you lost some question on that. You ought to be more attentive. Don't worry about it because you have been in the SSB so many. You know exactly what question. You have answered certain questions which are not asked for it. You have asked something so that you can't afford doing it. Only because you have been there, you know exactly if सवाल इसका जवाब देना यहाँ पर it comes, so you are trying to cover it in totality. No, he is the smartest person around there. What he does, he puts up one odd question from there and he puts in somewhere else. So you must answer only what he is asking for. Okay. Then he says now desperate. You already talked about desperate and not with fathers and with the mother. You probably taught now. You need more attention in keeping that means what? Your organizing ability and all particular things are not consent. You talks about you're not very, very conscientious. Not very consent. Advice that you get, if you're not keeping your words, I can't warn you on Sunday, then consent can come into play. Okay. Next, when you talk, when you time you spend together, it's not only for watching a movie or having food. It has to be some constructive interaction with the family for certain family affair. That is what really it means. And you didn't come, you had food together, you had lunch together, you just said that's all. You are trying to again, that's not the issue. What did progress say? What he probably, yes, probably decided some interactions that has to be talked about it. Okay. Then meditation and your journalists now, then you talked about your mind is full of negative things. That is, you use the word when you're talking about the mind full of negative. So what does it indicate? Secondly, the reason that you talked about the Chetan Bhagat, you talked about I read 2 pages and I get inclined to read more pages. That means there's a tendency for you to know. You are trying to get distracted to a different direction. That's a very tendency. Now, if I say, I read it, so you are doing at cost of something else. Are doing something else or not? So it means, why should he, where was the need for it? And secondly, that when you talk the reading habit, you have to concentrate on what is the direction, what are the authors, why only Chetan, why not something else? They have to subregion, they have to reason. You have got full of it. Why only Chetan Bhagat? Why not something else? Even if Chetan, there's nothing wrong with it. He's one of those Pahalika Admi, he does it wrong there. Okay, there's nothing wrong in there. But why? That has to be there. You can, when you are when interviewing also, why do you read a particular, suppose someone asks me what books I read it, I'll say I'm reading classical books. Why? That's simply I have neglected. That's so you have to have a direction in which you're reading across. You have to have reason for it on that. That reason could not afford to come out anywhere. Or not anywhere. Okay. Solution. So that's again, by and large, since you have had first interview 4 times, if you want to pass, you have to be much better. You have followed a normal path. I should be inclined to select you. That will only come when your performance is extraordinary, slightly hard. You will find difficulty because there's the 4th time you're going across. You know the question that you're going to go, but well, you have to be more around there. Okay. Your general awareness requires more improvement. That is, you have to do it around there. Fair enough. I think you have got a making of it. You can do well. Yes. You can do well, provided you are concerned and concentrating on what to answer, when to answer, and how to answer. There are the 3 questions which you must have. Understand? What to answer? Do not go beyond what you asked for. Just one thing. Secondly, I say adequacy. Your answer should be adequate enough. Number 3, when to answer. You look at it is the impact. I just recollect back when I was talking yesterday. You are telling a story. You are talking about a past. And if you cannot afford to talk about a past, and that story will have to be interesting enough. You are the hero of that story. And that hero has to come back and you have to write a story on Ayo's head so that he feels, oh, in my time I also do that, and he's the right person to do it. And unless you read a book around there, if Chetan Bhagat can afford to be, you appreciate Chetan Bhagat, you have to also appreciate your own story as such. And your story will have to be written on Ayo's mind. So he feels he also, as you get to know, fascinated to read 5 more pages, then he should feel more appreciative of asking few more questions onto that, so that the story becomes interesting. It becomes a routine going across. Okay, you ask a question, you answer me. It's not a story. As I say, you have to learn to tell a story. It is a story of the past. It's about there. And interviewing officer is doing a concern domain. Okay. This is what probably I just briefly had to talk about it. Slightly in between, I just got missed out in between. But this is briefly I just had on it. Now I leave it to Captain Sisi to go ahead.
So mostly carrying forward, determination, you got to be really building it up. अगर आप एक बार determination, आप determined हो जाओगे ना, you just take a decision and call now that I will get myself selected. Everything else will fall in place. Your anxiety, what sir said, followed by withdrawal mechanism. You withdraw, you go into cocoon. You know, wherever you are going to find resistance, you are going to find something which is not to your thought process. आप withdraw करते हो. दूसरा point जैसे लगा मुझे, see, Chetan Bhagat and all is a fine. It's a fictional novel. It's nice to read, but why do you do that? The question always has to be matlab answered in a relevant
I just
form.
get into you when you are talking reading as my habit, why do you read it and which direction you read? There has to be logic for it.
Yes.
Why I read book and which type of book I read it. Sometimes you're talking chapter, and sometimes I'm talking about something which is self-improvement, something around there. Again, go back to you're jumping from A to Z. And then you talk of 40 minutes, I devote for meditation. Avoid, you may be doing it. Yoga, yes, fine, I'll accept it. Again, you're talking about I'm physically weak. Who knows that you have lost 20 kg? Did he ask for the question? Where was the need for telling that you're not physically fit? You're not physically fit. Does he know that you're not physically fit? Tell me. Why should you bring out yourself? Let him find out what is there. It is his job. Okay, sorry.
No, sir. Same thing, वो journalism भी उसी से correlated है. Writing a diary, you know, and you are saying that I write down all the mistakes and the short points that I have that I feel I could have done better.
Only one last one. That is only last 1 year. What was before that? He is doing journaling only for last 1 year.
Yes. So ये सारी चीजें के जो हैं ये इसको आप overcome करो by just having a determination यार. Plain simple one quality. Sir आपको बताएंगे. This is a thing, you have your determination, everything else I think will fall in place. Your dostis will happen around, your things will happen around. See, you have a tendency, you are a good personality, there is nothing wrong. सर तो काफी सीनियर है हमसे, बट अगर ऐसा कुछ होता तो तुरंत आपको बताते कि आपकी पर्सनालिटी में ये किंक है. As of now, personality wise, there is nothing wrong. All you need to have is a bit of determination and bit of confidence. ये जितने आपके हैबिट्स हैं, पढ़ने का है, अगर आप इसको इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करोगे, यू आर इनटू अ विड्रॉल सिम्पटम अवे फ्रॉम रियलिटी. यू आर डूइंग दिस टू बी अवे फ्रॉम रियलिटी.
You have to take it as a challenge and do it. This, as I said, no, you got 15 qualities to be shown. What is effective? At no place you have shown me, as I said, any problem that you have solved in your life. No place. Effective is use of intelligence to find a solution to day-to-day problem. In total interview, tell me one instance where we can say that you have got intelligence, effective intelligence. Tell me one place.
The science student Bernoulli's theorem नहीं जानता है. हवाई जहाज कैसे उड़ता है?
Understand?
टॉर्क क्या होता है?
It is not talking. You have to think about it. Tell me one instance in complete 1 hour interview, then you tell me that the effective intelligence is shown. You have gone down in education. You have failed in many examinations. You are physically also you are telling you not fit. You are telling anxiety comes into play. What does it mean? So effective intelligence goes down or not?
Yes.
Reasoning ability. Why reasoning? What is the reasoning ability? The interviewing officer will not start thinking of passing unless he is clear about her reasoning ability. Now,
जैसे गोरखा रेजिमेंट आप बोल रहे थे, मैंने क्वेश्चन सिर्फ पूछा व्हाई गोरखा रेजिमेंट.
No, that's okay. That he was very pointed. He knows he got fascinated by others. Very nice. That was a very nice way, and you did try to answer because the Sunday last very good point was there because Gorkhas are in and around there, and that you talked about it. That's the reason you have people. That's a logical question. That
but
is
it took some time for it to reach.
It did, and you also direct. So you should have started with itself. The Gorkha
Yes.
Dehradun is full of Gorkhas. We have got a lot many people on. They are good at it. They are the part of the system. And after Nepal, the Gorkhas are bulk of the people are settled on here, and they are supposed to be good, simple people on there. That's the reason they have performed well. They are favored for wealthy and all, and that's the reason I want to join. Simple answer. Where the beating on the bush karna yaar, you have to direct to the point, hit the nail.
जो इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस की सर बात कर रहे हैं, रीजनिंग एबिलिटी, देखो अब मैं वही चीज को सर बता रहे हैं तुमको, हम तुम्हारे जवाब को हम बता रहे हैं एग्जांपल के साथ कि देखो तुम्हारा रीजनिंग एबिलिटी किधर है और इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस किधर है.
Now tell me, when organizing ability, he has not asked, he would have asked a question on that. No question.
I did not.
He did not ask any question. Now where is the organizing ability? Tell me one event. You are vice captain. Yeah, very nice. That is one place, that is some part of the duty you did. Where you got falter on there, that when you ask the question on there, when your friends comes into what you do, if I don't, I'll get blamed on this. So rather than it's a part of duty. He may be a friend, it's a part of duty. I have to perform. But that someone likes it, and that is the end of it. Why should I go visi onto this aspect?
और उसमें भी जब मैंने क्वेश्चन था कि डिसिप्लिन कैसे मेंटेन करोगे, एवरीथिंग यू सेड वाज स्कूल हैज इंस्ट्रक्टेड दिस इज व्हाट इज टू बी डन.
It is your job.
My question was to you, what you would have done.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. You got everything. Probably you are not, you have to learn from your mistake. You have not learned from your mistake. For interview, you have already gone through, and you should be able to analyze how to go about it. And tick on every quality. Have I answered? This is where I fail. This is what I should have done. You start ticking it off, no?
Okay, sir.
Okay, it's open. Nothing. It is a simple interviewing. Also, interview is the simplest thing. Why? It is conscious domain. You can befool him at any time. He asks a question. He's not going to find out what is your there. You tell him right what is there. What is ideally? I say become God. Bhagwan के तरह आंसर करो ना यार. कहाँ करेगा ये बता मेरे को.
जो सर ने एग्जांपल दिए, देखो ऑर्गेनाइजिंग एबिलिटी का भी उसी को कोरिलेट करो जो अभी तुम्हारे ही आंसर हमने दिए.
यस सर.
कि क्लास में डिसिप्लिन मेंटेन करने के लिए व्हाट इज योर कंट्रीब्यूशन. सो इसमें आरए, इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस, ओए तीनों चला गया.
So the problem is not it is supposed to, it's an excellent technique. You may be say outdated बोल सकते हो, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो, सवाल पूछा क्या सवाल पूछ रहा है यार, and it is one of the best technique available. याद रखना. From your answer things come into play.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Any question from your side?
Sir, I would like to ask one question. That since I have completed my graduation in 2022, and now it's been about a year after that. So should I opt for post graduation?
You should really. Here you say already enroll in graduation, post graduation program. Where is the problem?
Okay, sir.
You enroll for MSc Karam, 17. I'm preparing for exam. Why should I say I'm sitting idle at home?
Okay, sir.
Simple answer. Enroll yourself. There's open school, open college. Where's the problem? Who's asking from there?
और तुम ये देखो, तुम्हारे इतने अच्छे मार्क्स हैं 10th और 12th के, यू कैन पिक अप 2-3 स्टूडेंट्स आर इन योर लोकेलिटी.
यस सर.
जिनको तुम पढ़ा दो.
यस सर.
Okay. Right then.
You can contribute to your father's share of responsibility.
Any other question?
Yes sir, definitely.
Any other question?
सर इसमें सर जैसे ग्रेजुएशन के मार्क्स थे तो
you have no option. You have to find an answer. You guess yes sir. Okay, you can say there's a big difference between college, school, and college around there. And because of pandemic condition which were well around there, the classes are not being held properly.
पहला चीज तो ये है सर, ये जानना जरूरी है कि मार्क्स कम आए क्यों.
That your answer should.
Your answer. What is your answer?
His answer is he's not able to give the answer.
No, he has to be responsible for his performance.
He has not answered. He has not done well. But simple guy. There is no question of person. 94% cannot come back to 68%. Simple.
कुछ तो होगा.
उसका कारण यही है, he has not studied pandemic condition में जाके क्लासेस नहीं होते, टीचर नहीं मिलते हैं, कहीं अटेंड नहीं क्या होगा, there is a big difference in स्कूल में तो टीचर पढ़ाता है उसको,
उसमें एक रीजन था कि जैसे मैंने बोला कि मैंने 2019 में फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर के एग्जाम्स दिए थे, देयर आई सिक्योर्ड अबाउट 80% इन सेमेस्टर, एंड इन लास्ट सेमेस्टर 2022 जो हमें फिजिकली एग्जाम्स दिए थे उसमें अबाउट 78% थे। बट उसके बीच में जो सेमेस्टर्स थे उसमें हर स्टूडेंट को अबाउट 55% मार्क्स दिए गए, जिससे वो बेयर मिनिमम पास हो जाए ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स। तो उसकी वजह से
there was no exams conducted.
Yes sir.
So that you have to, so
that is the answer, no?
That answer comes to that percentage was given on the basis of last performance.
Yes.
It was not ad hoc. You understand? If you had 88%, he cannot give 55%. They were all instructed to give percentage based upon the last performance. If you are 80%, he cannot give you 55%. If he has given, you are wrong.
Instructions very clear. Mark sheet में.
अरे नहीं बेटा, ऐसा नहीं. Instructions were very clear. If exam is not conducted, it will be given for the last performance.
नहीं मतलब सर का कहना ये है कि बेटा ये हुआ है, then you got to be at least talking once to your institute.
It is last performance.
An 80% student, 80 percentile student can't be brought down to 55 based on no exams, no submission, nothing.
Even IGNOU said everyone has given that marks. There is no way. Illogical. In any case, you can just see your answer should have been there simple because the pandemic condition. First semester I got 88%. In between there was no interaction, no classes were conducted or as such on there. And as a student, we were left free for ourselves, right? Free for ourselves, and we had to struggle to find out the answer. Well, last semester again I scored 78%. I came up very well. That's how the things were. Now I'm trying to cover it up. That's the answer.
Okay, sir.
You will get through. I'm just telling you what sir is saying. You please keep that in mind. You will get through the SSB.
Okay,
understood? Whatever he is saying, you just keep that in mind and work this through. Your answers have to come of graduate level. The story में जो sir ने point किया है वही चीज यहाँ भी है. I am talking to a graduate. So your responses has to, many of them you showed me your brilliance. कई जगह पे आपने अपने brilliance दिखाए हैं और कई जगह पे आपने एकदम नोविस वाला आंसर दिया, मतलब 12th का जो एनडीए वाला होता है.
Answer.
So you got consistent.
You have to be same age, sex, and educational qualification. Your answers should be to that level.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll talk about anything else. We can talk about anything. Okay.
Yes, sir. From my side, that is also.
Okay. Anything else from your side? Any other question?
Sir.
Yeah. No? Okay.
Chalo.
Jot down if you got any point, we can talk later on. You can let me know. Right?
Sir.
Okay.
Right,
thank you, Captain. I think we are grateful to you for having spent your time.
Not at all, sir.
I wish you all
thank
the
you,
best
sir.
around that.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
do well in life.
Right.
You have
Right.
got making of
Yes.
an officer. You
Yes.
can become, you are sincere, you can put it not jab jaga tabi sabera, yaad rakhiye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can do that.
Right,
Okay,
sir.
bye.
Good, sir.
Thank you.
Right.